Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rock and Roll Brunch podcast, episode number 16. Get ready to argue about some music. We're talking about the Rolling Stone magazine's top 500 songs of all time. All that plus much more, all on today's show. Let's roll right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are here. We are doing it. My name is Josh Marcanti, and I will be your host. With me, as always, are two music nerds, big time, Mr. Chris Marcanti. Chris, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm glad you said big time the way you did. Like it was like a Donald Trump.
Big time. Big. The biggest. You know, we're here. We're doing the podcast. Thank you. And also, Mr. Dane Train Urbach. Dane, good morning. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Are you ready to podcast today?
Yeah. I've been woken up in the most ridiculous way ever.
I feel like there's a lot of energy on this one where
I'm just trying. I've been thinking a lot about barf videos, guys. I'm not lying.
Yeah, that checks out.
It's something worth thinking about, quite frankly.
For the listeners, they made me watch a barf video before this episode started.
Because it was funny.
They made me.
It's 5:10 in the morning, 5:15 in the morning.
You know what we didn't do is put a gun to your head and make you press play when we told you that this was a barf video.
No, you both literally like, no, hold on, I want to see how he responds. Should we be recording this?
Watch it. I want to watch him watch it.
So
I think we have your reaction on video too, which is, like you said, underwhelming.
Yep. It's a video of a guy barfing.
It's a video, guys.
Yeah.
We didn't have a show last week. I was out on out for a work trip, so it's been a minute. How are you guys doing? Outside of podcasting, how are you guys doing?
It was homecoming week. Yeah.
How was homecoming week?
It was all right at my high school where I teach, and then it was also homecoming week the week before in Cary, so it feels very fall-y right now.
Yeah.
Like everything's kind of like weird, like nostalgic fall.
I think we were driving through Cary that week and was wondering what was going on at the high school because it seemed to be like a Saturday full of not a Saturday. Saturday?
There was like the parade and the dance and the big football game, and it was just a mob.
They had Palatine's last night, but because they didn't want to do it in their gym, they did it under a tent. And I don't know if you guys were outside at all yesterday, but it was a torrential downpour. All these high school kids standing outside in just like gushing rain. Sideways hurricane rain.
Were they TikToking at the same time?
Oh, they were. They were.
Yeah,
it's all for the clicks.
They were all TikToking. Very nice. Very nice.
How are you, Josh?
Well, thanks for asking.
Wait,
Jesus.
What was your trip for? Was it something exciting?
For work.
I know, but everyone always says like trips for work, and I don't. That's not a thing I understand because my trips for work are to the Field Museum, or
the long answer is that I work IT in my day job, and I'm a computer nerd by day. So there was a thing for work where all the owners of the firm got together, and they needed a computer nerd to sit at a table and answer computer nerd questions for adults. So, but it was one of those things where like. I can't. Chris goes. He sent me a text. He goes, "How's it going?" And my answer is like, "It's adult joke hell." You know when you get together with like adults and they're like, "Oh yeah, you did it to me," and they're all like, and I'm like, "Fucking kill me." I just
the worst.
Adult joke hell. I'm just
hey, guys, I only work with teenagers.
I was gonna say,
I have no idea
probably
what adult work hell is.
Something to be said about teenager joke hell.
Oh, that's a whole. That's a hell
I'd rather
of a
do
different
teenager
sort.
jokes than adult
I don't
jokes.
know if you would. Not these teenagers. I mean, like they just evolved in such a way where you don't understand them anymore and you feel old.
Yeah, but that's a constant thing where. That would be like, what are you guys talking about? You know, I would love to be.
Then you become like a creepy older dude who's like, what are you guys talking about?
What are you guys talking about?
What are you talking about? On that trip, I like really hurt my knee, and so I was hobbling around an airport. Like people were passing me by for the first time in my life as I was in the slow lane, like. And like for the first time, I've always been that guy in the left lane in the airport. So like, why is this person walking so fucking slow? For the first time in my life, that was me, and I'm like, my knee. So I'm still recovering. But thank you for asking for how I'm doing. What have you guys been jamming, Dane? What you been jamming? Anything good? Anything fun?
I mean, pretty much only the Thrice album, the new one. Yeah, I mean, I got a couple records for my birthday a few weeks back, and so in the house I've been listening to like Caspian's most recent record, which is like one of my favorite records of like 2 years ago or something like that, and it's just so good. And I don't know, I got Bleed American on vinyl finally, which is one of the ones I don't have, so I've been listening to that a lot. And there's this album by Sumac, which is one of the guys from, it's the guy from ISIS, Aaron Turner, and it's a just really heavy, kind of nasty metal record. But really, at the end of the day, it's just I keep going back to that Thrice record.
Caspian? Is that On Circles?
Yes, On Circles is just such a good record. Yeah, you
recommended that one, and I jammed that so much.
Yeah, it's just so good.
Sumac, May You Be Held? Is that what I'm?
I don't think so. Sumac, it's like a gray kind of album cover. There's another one that's orange. I don't remember
what one becomes. I've been dying for like good like metal.
All right, so I have one more recommendation. Oh yeah, What One Becomes. Yeah, the album artwork doesn't have the title of the album on it. This is Sumac's weird because they're really heavy and really cool, but kind of just sometimes just noisy. And I think that's part of their aesthetic. But I've got this other great recommendation. There's this band called Sarin, Sarin, and they're a smaller band on Prosthetic Records. And I bought that one. That's the most recent record that I bought. Although I've been listening to it since it was released, and it's just heavy and nasty and sludgy, but also like dynamic. And man, that's probably going to be one of my top 5s this year.
Is that You Can't Go Back? Or? Okay.
With that big red crazy artwork.
That's cool.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry, I'm talking too much. What are you guys listening to?
Chris, what you listening to, buddy?
I'm trying to find Sarin, Sarin.
It looks like there's 2 entries in Google Music for Sarin, Sarin.
This one's like a big, a big red album cover.
Yeah,
with like some crazy artwork.
But Chris is gonna move on because he knows how to Google stuff, and we can definitely send him the link.
Yeah,
later, so
I'll send you the link right now.
Chris, we'll send you the link.
Yeah, do that. You know what I've been listening to? Aside from the new Thrice record, which is definitely worth us having some sort of like.
Yeah, we're gonna probably do that in the next D.
Yeah. There's new Angels and Airwaves, which it's not terrible.
You know, you said you had really good things to say.
Yeah,
about
there's a couple of good songs on it for sure. Laura Jane Grace dropped a 7-song EP record, whatever. That was pretty good. But then, Real Big Fish's "Cheer Up" is not on any streaming services for whatever reason. It just doesn't exist on any streaming services.
Funny.
And I was cleaning up old hard drives and things like that, and found my digital copy of it. So I've been listening to "Cheer Up" a lot, especially because it's still 80 degrees outside. Like I haven't been allowed to fall into fall with like harder records.
When you say fall into fall like that, it sounds like you're announcing your fall collection of
fall into fall.
Yeah,
Old Navy.
For Old Navy fall collection.
Yeah. What have you been listening to, Josh?
You just taught me that Cheer Up is not available anywhere, and now I'm like, you need to put that somewhere where I can watch it.
It's been a heartache of mine for a while that like.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I wasn't missing it.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's definitely Thrice lately, and then a lot of Beach Boys. A lot.
So much Beach Boys.
A lot of Beach Boys.
Wouldn't it be nice,
for a project that Chris and I have coming up? So
I had to write this paper on pet sounds in college, so I had to listen to the beginning of "Wouldn't It Be Nice," just the beginning. Like hundreds of times it felt like. Yeah. Yeah, it's just it like haunts it's like the Halloween music in my head, you know, like that just repeats. And so yeah, as soon as I hear it, I can't get rid of it. I have to tell you this too, and this is really stupid and totally random aside. But my son's been he changed classes, and so he's been meeting some new friends, and he's got this new friend named Rhiannon. And every time I hear her name, I can't not hear that song by Fleetwood Mac. The
yeah.
And then I start just singing Rhiannon through the house, multiple in harmonies by myself. And it embarrasses everyone.
Do you sing it to their face?
Oh, not to this kid's face. No.
Can I tell you, that might make you like, that might be the most quintessential dad thing that you can do. Like, one of your kids has a friend his name is in a song by Fleetwood Mac, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're just singing that song at your son and his friend.
I imagine so one thing, and you guys will probably get here, but when your kids are like, I don't know, deeper into school age, you start thinking about friends and like, or maybe Josh, you probably are there a little bit.
I'm there.
Where you're starting to think of friends like, is this the kid that the friend that my kid's going to get in trouble with in their sophomore year? You know,
I'm
like
there right
that.
now. Yeah.
So
I'm like looking at these kids. I'm like, who's a little shit?
Right. And so I'm playing the long game on this one. Yeah. So if
Rhiannon?
If Rhiannon becomes a friend of Emmett's, like, and they go to the
he
homecoming dance together or something, I
wonder if Rhiannon knows he's being long gamed right now. She's got a vibe. He walks.
She's being long gamed, and no, she has no idea. I don't think Emmett wants me to know that she exists right now. Yeah, but
it's one of those.
Oh.
Speaking of,
he's gonna listen to this podcast when he's like 17 and be like, "Fuck you, Dad."
I knew it.
God damn it.
Speaking of the number 9 best song of all time, Fleetwood Mac's "Dreams." Let's go ahead and get into
or a disappointing number 11 for the Beach Boys,
or number 163's "Landslide," or number 4.
Damn it, you beat me to it. It's on my
number
list.
401's "Go,
on my piece
go
of
Your
paper
Own Way."
List, like.
I got it right in front. I got it very, very searchable in front of me.
Is it a pencil too?
So
yes, I have a pencil and paper.
Jesus. Rolling Stone magazine put out in 2004, I believe, is the first one, top 500 songs of all time. Back then, they mentioned that it was MySpace was still around and the iPod had just started. And we didn't really have smartphones, so they've since done a couple of revisions, and they just did one. They just completed one in September, I think it was. So they revised their top 500 songs of all time. This was compiled through various producers and engineers and music people to submit their top 500 of all time, and they put it out in the world. So I think the significance and the reason we wanted to kind of talk about it and pick it apart a little bit is, it's kind of a good starting point. If your kid is turning 12 years old and they say, hey, what's some good songs I should listen to? You might point them in this direction of top 500 of all time and go, here's some stuff you should listen to, or maybe not. I mean, there's some
just undermine the entire
some real wet farts in here. Let me ask you this. Let me before we get into the who's of the top 500. Do you guys even think that this should be done? Meaning that significance of songs can be quantified in this way, or the popularity of these songs justifies putting them on this kind of list and having them examined. Chris, you're tapping the bottom of your chin, and I don't like it, but I'm gonna ask you: do you think that this is worth examining? Is this a thing worth examining? Not by us, but I mean in general.
I think so. I think so. I also think they did a bad job at identifying what songs moved either on or off of this list.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was like, let's talk
I don't
about
know.
that. I searched the internet high and low. It's not
Yeah.
easy to find. Yeah.
Because I think there, first of all, the idea of like archiving the greatest songs of all time seems like an exercise worth doing, albeit probably painful for the people that were doing it.
Yeah.
Like, how do you argue between 34 and 35 or whatever? But I think it's an exercise worth having, like into the But it would be so interesting to be like, this is the song that got bumped for this song or whatever.
Well, what's interesting is, for like, I always reference, I think it's IGN or Kotaku has the top 12 or 10 best video games for each console that you can, and they always revise it. They revise it probably once every quarter or once every 6 months. And then they'll also show you the edits that they made and what got bumped and why. So if you're going to be doing this once every 10 years, I definitely agree with you. They should be putting that edit and why it got bumped. But
yeah, just said it.
Dane, what do you think? Is does popularity versus significance is in a top 500 setting? Is that worth doing? Should we be doing something like that?
Yeah, I think I agree with Chris.
We as the audience.
I think it's worth doing, even just from a sociological, cultural standpoint of just like here are the songs that are important, here in the U.S. like at this time and place. I've been kind of going through the list of what I agree with and what I don't agree with and stuff. I've been trying to think about it in terms of like the criteria for this can't be super random, but it also needs to be pretty flexible. And I feel like if there's some combination of whether a song was popular, whether a song is catchy and accessible, whether a song is innovative and impactful, and like there's got to be these interesting kind of like criteria. And I do think that it's worth trying to put a list together like this. I do think though that this is all for clicks. This is probably not at all for, considering how much it burned my phone's battery just to like swipe through this website on Safari.
Get past the advertisements. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was a nightmare just to swipe through it all. I think
they even wrote on the site that it was one of their biggest pages, like hundreds of millions of views or something.
Yeah, I mean, but it is a battery burner of a literal website, and it is pretty bizarre. I think that this is obviously something to get people talking about and get people clicking on, and not really for posterity. And I'm sure some of their decision making has more to do with that, which is probably why Migos is on there and not a single song by, I don't know, Incubus, or like, I mean, I've been in my head for all weekend thinking like who was left off and who wasn't and why. So I think that it's an important thing to do. I think Rolling Stone's probably the right publication to do it. Maybe it's not always, but maybe the reason that this exists isn't because it's important. So I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe that's cynical.
No, I actually agree with everything you said. I mean, yeah. I just noticed that your Zoom has your preferred
he, him.
Yeah, I teach on Zoom, guys.
Oh, cool.
I model.
Dane's a boy.
I model things for my students, right?
Sorry,
like using
totally
pronouns and normalizing that.
I was getting ready to pull out my next thing. I go, he, him.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Now you know my pronouns.
So real quick, it's I think it's easy to look at just the top 10 out of the top 500, but real quick, top 10 songs of all time according to Rolling Stone: Outkast's "Hey Ya," Fleetwood.
What? Oh, you're going backwards.
Yeah. Top 10. Number 10, Outkast's "Hey Ya," Fleetwood Mac's "Dreams," Missy Elliott's "Get Your Freak On," The Beatles' "Strawberry Fields Forever," which is an interesting choice for the Beatles. Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On," Nirvana's "Smells Like Teen Spirit," Bob Dylan's "Like a Rolling Stone," Sam Cooke's "A Change Is Gonna Come," Public Enemy's "Fight the Power," and the number one choice, Aretha Franklin's "Respect." How do you guys feel about that number one spot, Aretha Franklin's RESPCT? Chris, I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, you do.
She the queen, baby.
You do it. You know exactly what I was thinking.
So
but you know what's interesting? I was wondering, is that the same number one
No.
from before?
No, I did pull the previous top 10, and previously Bob Dylan's Rolling Stone was number one, which got bumped to number four. Interestingly, the Rolling Stones appeared as number two, Satisfaction, before, and that's not even on the top 10 anymore. You can also look at some of the other ones. I can tell you confidently, Ray Charles, What Did I Say was number 10 before. Chuck Berry's Johnny B. Good was number 7. And Aretha Respect was number 5. That got bumped up. And then there was a Beach Boys, Good Vibrations, number 6 before. So there's three at least that totally got bumped from the top 10. They're still in there. They're still in the top 500, but they definitely got bumped to make room for some more. And I think I want to get back to Aretha Franklin for a second, but I think the trend overall for this one was definitely to include more modern music, which is an interesting.
But it's weird that it would shape the top 10 in such a way that like it would all get jumbled around, but not necessarily like not a lot of new music made in the top 10 except for one song that shouldn't really be in the list at all. So,
well, let's talk about that in a second because I'm curious about your take on that. Chris and Dane, Aretha Franklin's Respect. Does she deserve that top spot?
Chris, help just explain to me like why that one is number one.
Why it's number one in 2020 or 2021?
Yeah, and why
What
not?
year-
Like that's it.
But-
It's very important that it's number one right now, right? Like it's a song about a woman getting her respect back. And by the way, that woman is singing, not the one that wrote it, obviously, because Otis Redding wrote it, but a black woman. Like there is no more quintessentially empowering soul music than Respect by Aretha.
But
Franklin.
why not? You know, there's a lot of that much I understand. To me, that song just felt like it could be anywhere on the list. Like it definitely should be in the top 500 songs of all time. It doesn't but I don't understand why the top 10 or even the number one spot. It just feels to me like why isn't Missy Elliott number one? Why isn't if we're trying to find a song that like if that number one spot is simply for cultural reasons, like then I feel like there's a lot of songs that could be there too, right?
Well, I think you're probably right that there's a lot of songs that could be there, and that's something that's arguable about this list of like. And to your point earlier, what is the criteria, and how does that determine the difference between Aretha Franklin Respect and Joni Mitchell or something, right? Like whatever the criteria is. But I think from like a musical standpoint, it's a great, really, 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 really good pop song. And like the other thing I was wondering about this list too is like how much of it is if it's an exercise in consensus, how much does the dynamic of the list change based on the relevancy, the distance
Shifting,
from those
yeah.
songs? And so like if that's a measurement of this, it says a lot that people that were doing this on consensus felt like Aretha Franklin's Respect was still so relevant to them as a song that it made its way to number one. Like that seems more the idea that it's still relevant to the people that were filling out this questionnaire, that it made its way to number one. I feel like that's the most important part about it. But I don't know if, just looking at the top 100 songs, I don't know if you can find a more well-crafted pop song that's also as like culturally relevant as Respect. Like just looking at all these songs, like, I don't know.
I would argue,
especially in the top 100.
I would argue that there are better crafted pop songs in the top 100. No problem. I would argue that. What I would argue is that, and this is coming from a guy who started and maintains an oldies cover band. Take it with a grain of salt. That Respect. I think the factor you did not talk about is the timelessness of some of these songs and how relevant they have stayed. How not let me change the word relevant. How classic. How it's a song that will last. some of these songs in the top 500 are have already passed their popularity, they're already old and past their prime. Respect is never going to not be a song in vogue. In it's always going to be a song that you could play in 2021 and it's like, oh shit, this is fucking.
That was my exact point. You're literally making my exact point,
But,
which was that if this is done by consensus, it says a lot by the fact that there are so many people that filled this survey out that felt respect was still relevant today. Like, even though
relevant's
it was
not
made
the
in
word. Relevant's not the word. I'm trying. I'll find it later. But
important, yeah, I don't know.
yeah. It's timeless. It has no. I mean, although it does sound of the era, it's still just a banger. Whereas like some of these, I'm like, ugh. Like I'll talk about it in a second. But does that answer your question, Dane, about why it's
think
number
it does.
one?
I think
Do you,
it's not like I was confused as to why it was number one. I
No,
was
I
more
know,
of
I know.
like, it's not like I don't think it deserves it, but I definitely had this sort of like, oh, well, I mean, it almost seemed arbitrary to me, but I think now I can see a little bit like how at the time it felt culturally significant, and even now probably feels maybe even just, I mean, totally culturally significant and relevant, just for in a different context, not even for different reasons. So I think that makes sense.
By the way, let me just also say, and this is not something that I'm at all qualified to speak on, but when the song came out, aside from Aretha Franklin being a woman, right? Like, aside from that, what it means to be a black woman with a song that is like you hear everywhere, like just that idea that in the 1960s a black woman could have such a like important spot in people's mind, like it's something that we can't contend with because we were born in the 80s, but like, or I should say contextualize because we were born in the 80s, but like the idea that in 1967 that this black woman was doing all of this, like, and still today that it's that important, like,
it's funny,
monstrous. Like, it's in my mind for some reason it's an easy number one.
I couldn't agree with you more. Like what I was about to say is that like when I skipped to number one, I was like, yeah, okay, cool, no problem with it at all. Like, yeah, sounds good.
And yet you pieces of shit cut it out of our set list. You pieces of shit.
Listen, we didn't do it well. Okay. Dane, you said that there was one that you had in the top 10 that you had an absolute problem with.
Yeah, and that would be...
And try not to be racist, go.
That would be Hey Ya by Outkast, which is a totally dumb song.
Come on.
How did I know?
I'm sorry. I don't see how... How do I put this? I don't understand. It seems like a fun party song. It seems like if we really wanted to dig beneath the surface and find the relevance of that song, we could. Mm-hmm. If our criteria is songs that like are poppy and catchy and accessible, check. That say something meaningful. I mean, again, we might need to dig beneath the surface a little bit. That were...
It's all in the lyrics.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Shake it. Shake it.
Yeah, right.
Shake it like a Polaroid. It's all there.
If we want to talk about, innovation, maybe Outkast is super innovative. Like, I certainly remember at the time that I couldn't escape Outkast when I was in, like, starting college. Like, I went on a road trip with my friends to Florida, and all we listened to was Stankonia. I guess to me, it just feels like if it belongs on the list at all, and there's a lot of Outkast on this list, by which I mean like there's like 3 songs or something, I think, or maybe more. And there's not a lot of artists with 3 songs or more, right? There's, I think, not more than 1 or 2 Kendrick Lamar songs, for example, or I don't think there's more than 1 Run DMC song, or if there's any, actually, now that I think about it.
I'll find it for you.
The point is, though, that like...
Nope.
Yeah. See,
no Run DMC. That's crazy.
And And there's only one NWA song, although I think that was in the top 50. I think it was. So I guess what I'm getting at is like, it's not a catchy. It's a catchy song. It's a party song. It's the song that'll get all the white girls singing at the frat house, right? It'll get everyone like on the floor.
I don't see any NWA either.
No, there's one on there. I'm almost positive. But I guess what I'm saying is like, if this song is in a top 500 songs,
got it. 248 straight out of Compton. So sorry.
If there's a list of like the top 500 songs to get you dancing, that's a totally different list. And Hey Ya should be in the top 10, right?
I think to your defense, you got to look at songs like Hey Ya, and you ask, is that better than Bohemian Rhapsody? Is it better than Purple Rain? Mm-hmm. Is it better than Imagine? Mm-hmm. I think that's an easy. The answer is it's an easy no.
We could do that with any song on this list.
That's why I bring it up, because
right.
you could literally if we're gonna assign it a number, you have to say that Hey Ya is a better song than Runaway by Kanye.
And
or
I'm
like
here to say that
Satisfaction.
Bombs Over Baghdad is a way better song than Hey Ya. And go ahead and just put Hey Ya on the other list. Like, this one to me is like an obvious no. I have a couple of other hot takes on obvious no's.
Give me your other.
I
also have obvious hot takes.
I'm going to let you guys give some obvious hot takes because my daughter woke up and I need to tell her to go back to bed.
Sure.
So give me literally 2 seconds, okay?
Do it.
Do we want to pause or just keep going? Pause. Keep going. Pause. Pause here. Well, let's pause. I, for whatever reason, my GarageBand just popped open. It's like, hey, do you want to use Reincubate? And I'm like, what?
So you haven't been recording audio?
No, it was maybe 5 seconds, but I think it's gonna fuck up the sync. So just so you're aware, it just at about the 37
let's
minute.
do a clap right now. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. I don't know why. It just my GarageBand bounced up and it was like, hey, do you want to use Reincubate? I'm like, what? Like, literally.
That reminds me that I have not been recording this.
Well, there you go.
Getting lazy.
He's got it.
Getting lazy.
See, I feel like we can do this whole episode on the top 500.
Then let's do it.
Yeah.
Just quit your bitching, man.
I was thinking about this. I was
my
like,
wiretap records.
I noticed you were like, Chris, you're like,
Why don't you watch Chiclet puking again?
Chris, let me ask you a question, and I already know the answer. Allie goes, "Oh, we didn't tell him to get the good coffee," and I said, "He's got it."
We actually didn't put we didn't put coffee in there, but I will add it. Yeah. I will add it for sure. He's back.
Sorry, she does this thing lately where she just wakes up pretty early and then just sings as loud as she can.
Yeah.
Yeah, just about meow meows and stuff as loud as she possibly can.
Olive does the exact same thing.
Yeah.
The exact same thing.
So I just don't want to make sure it doesn't wake up everyone else in the house so I can continue talking to you guys. Wait, what did I miss?
No, nothing. We paused. We paused.
I'm sorry.
That's all good.
Don't apologize. Who cares?
Chris.
Yeah.
I have hot takes. Dane's got hot takes. Give me a song off this list.
Hold on, I want to do a different thing. I put all the top 100 songs into an Excel spreadsheet, and then I pivoted them by decades.
Oh, you're starting to use Excel terms.
He used a pivot.
Pivoted.
He taught me about the pivot tables.
I created a pivot table.
By the way, this is on the Wikipedia page, so you didn't have to do this. But continue.
Oh,
look at how sad he is now.
The top 100 songs.
He wanted to pivot them though.
Yeah,
by decade.
The overall. It might be in my top 100 too. I'm not sure. I did see a breakdown, but
so what is your guess of the top 100 songs decade?
70s.
What's the
no? It's 60s and 70s are tied. By top 100 though?
Only top 100. I'm being perfectly honest with you. I read through the entire list, but I'm like, Who gives a shit about 341? Like the number is 0 to 100 in my opinion, the most are important.
I'm gonna argue with you and say if you had a song that you wrote and it made it into number 341,
sure,
you'd be creaming your jeans.
One of my favorite songs in the whole list is on 356, so be careful.
Yeah, easy now.
Easy, Rod.
You got shot down. Okay.
Anyway,
top 100.
Yeah.
Decade breakdown. Biggest decade. I'm gonna still say 60s.
70s.
Dane said 70s. It is the 60s. It's the 60s. They're don't do it.
What's wrong?
It's 60s and then 70s. 60s has 28 songs in the top 100, which means almost a third of the songs in the top 100 are from the 60s. Then it's the 70s at 23, then the 80s, then the aughts.
Come on,
I was
baby.
kind of surprised at that. I guess that's Hey Ya. Then the 90s, then 10s, and then 50s and 30s.
I don't think there's a single song from the 1940s on this list either.
There is.
Like what the
There's
hell?
not.
No, there is.
Well, at least not in the top 200.
It's what's his name? John.
I was just trying to be funny, guys.
Oh, well, it's important though. I do. It's John. Hold on. What's his name? 19...
No one cares. Okay, so then I pivoted by the bands. What is the band with the most number one songs on the top 100?
Beatles.
Shit.
Beatles or yeah, it's got to be the Beatles
It's
or Led Zeppelin.
the top band.
The top band with the most songs on the number one.
It's either Beatles or Fleetwood Mac.
It's the Beatles. They have 6 songs in the top 100.
Which is stupid.
Who's
too
number
much.
2?
It's too much.
Who's number 2?
Stones.
I want to say Led Zeppelin because I remember seeing a lot of them, but now I'm trying to think of like the whole list and maybe just saw them across the whole list and not in the top 100. So, but Michael Jackson?
Yeah, see, I don't
know.
Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan.
Number
2.
Got 4 songs. Then the Stones. Then we've this is gonna really piss off Dane. Then it's number 4 is Prince.
Wait.
Number 5 is Outkast.
But see,
Wait, I just want you to know
I
something. Hold
thought
on.
you thought I'd be pissed about Prince. I'm like, well, no, Prince is an innovative songwriter. Like, I don't know.
According to my quick search, the Beatles have 12 songs on this list.
Yeah.
For the entire top 500.
Stupid.
500.
Bob Dylan gets 3 slots tops. Come on,
Bob Dylan has
got 4.
7 in total.
Yeah, no, across this list, he gets like
He gets 7.
He should maybe 3 across the 500.
The Stones
maybe
only
1
have-
in the top 100. Sorry.
Is there an argument to be made about like prolific songwriters?
No.
Like that they deserve some sort of trophy? Like,
I think
the Beatles deserve a trophy?
I think
Because
the
they're-
Beatles getting 12 songs is obnoxious.
But are they not prolific songwriters? Is that what you're arguing? Like, are they not the most prolific songwriters?
I'm saying if you're looking at if you're looking at all of recorded music, let's call it really from the 50s onward, every single song ever recorded, and we're gonna limit that to 500, and we're gonna give 12 of those to the Beatles. It's too much.
Are you just saying that because it should be more inclusive, or that you legitimately don't believe that they deserve 12 songs on the top 500?
Yeah, I'm saying you can bump 3 of those and
Strawberry
make room
Fields
for
Forever being one of them. Come on.
That's what that I've.
It's a boring-ass song.
Let's shave that down to 10. Let's shave it down and then make room for 2 other, amazing, prolific, significant songs.
Yeah,
no
obviously
problem.
there's a lot of bias in doing this exercise too, because
This is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Like the idea, there's just like this. Amanda and I were going through this list last night. Number 20 is Robin, Dancing on My Own. I literally was like, "Have you ever heard of Robin?"
Oh,
I've never heard that song.
your boy
until
looked
last
up
night.
that music video.
Yeah,
It's not good.
but the idea that is ahead of like any of these songs. Bruce, the fact that that's ahead of Bruce Springsteen has 1 song on this top 100 list, and that's ahead of it. Robin, Dancing on My Own.
I think,
like,
this is the problem with
Springsteen is represented. He's got 6.
We have to just acknowledge
have
the
6.
fact that like our own biases as music listeners, is just gonna inflame or fan the flames of our and like outrage based
Sorry,
on
I want to be accurate. He's got 5. Sorry.
like in other words, like maybe we're not the people here for like the dance like songs, right? So like that Robin song in the dance world may have changed everything. Whereas in the same way that somebody's probably really pissed off that a shitty song like Smells Like Teen Spirit is in the top 10, even though like it's not really a shitty song, it kind of changed everything, even though it might not be Nirvana's best song. It's just their most popular one, Yeah.
What's funny, I looked at the comments for that Robin song.
Should not have done that.
I was just, and people are like, this song changed music. This song, I lost my virginity to this song. This song, I named my child after this song. What the fuck are you talking about?
But that's a great point. That obviously there's going to be songs in the whole of all music that changed people's lives, like that we will never hear, like we don't know of, we'll never, whatever. But the idea that Amanda told me that it was apparently what really helped blow the song up is some guy did it on The Voice and it did it in a different way, and after that it like took it to the next level, is my understanding.
Let's hear some other like.
I got a big one for you. It's hold it. It's right. You guys go. I'm gonna find it. It's in the top. It's in the top 50.
No one knows what you're talking about.
There's just one of my hot takes was in the top 50, and I was like,
I want to hear some more hot takes. Or I can share one too.
Chris, give us
a hot take.
You didn't give us a hot take.
What is a hot? I don't know.
Give us a song you don't think should be on the list.
A hot take is it should. Why is this here?
Oh, Dane, give us some of your hot takes.
Oasis Wonderwall. I've been waiting this one. What a dumb fucking song. And like
wow.
Okay, I'm here to confirm that Oasis is an important band to the 90s, that their music was popular, that it was meaningful, right? I'm here to confirm that Oasis's songs are legit good. I like What's the Story, Morning Glory, right? I'm here to confirm that like Oasis probably has a place in this list, though probably not above, I don't know, again, fucking Incubus or like we could pick,
but not above Outkast.
Oh, Jesus. I think Wonderwall is the dumbest fucking song. It's like static and boring. It builds very slightly from the first round to the next round to the next round. It just sort of like, it feels like you're wandering around like a foggy London street, and that's the vibe it gives off. You don't know where it's going. It never really gets to even its catchy chorus never really gets to a climax. Like there's not a chord change that I'm aware of that like elevates it. It just feels so boring.
I think you're underestimating the cultural relevance of learning Wonderwall on acoustic
So
guitar.
that's the thing, and
see, that's the problem. He was never at a party where he'd just be like,
and I'm
so
here
anyway,
to
brother, here's Wonderwall.
I'm here to acknowledge that the drummer from Oasis was a drummer that influenced me a little bit when I was like learning how to play drums. So like I'm like, to me, it just seems like an easy song to learn, an easy song to sing, and an easy song to make a meme about when you're waxing nostalgic about the 90s.
My favorite meme is Hulk Hogan. He's like, he goes on a rant about anything in the world. And then the last panel is, anyway, brother, here's Wonderwall. It's so fucking funny.
I don't get it.
Like
so you can
he's got like the Van Halen.
You could talk about how the top 500 songs it's such bullshit. We shouldn't be doing this. Blah 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 blah. Blah. So anyway, here's Wonderwall. Wonderwall kills me.
Anywho,
yeah, does it deserve this 95th spot? That's
it doesn't
the real
deserve
question.
a spot on the list. If we're trying to capture all of the most important, most meaningful, like songs as a document of our time, Wonderwall is just a turd on the list that someone's gonna be like, oh, this song.
This is a hot take.
Sorry, I don't think.
No, it's good.
I just don't think it's that great of a song.
This is good.
Lyrically,
what I came for.
Like, and musically, if the frat boy learning guitar can like master that song pretty easily and capture its essence in a bottle, then I think maybe that's an unfair thing to say, because we can do that with a lot of songs.
I think it's unfair. I think that's an unfair thing to say, because I don't
agree with that either.
I'm worried about the number of frat houses that you've been in where people are playing Wonderwall. That's what I'm worried. I'm worried about your research.
Yeah,
to defend
listen, that argument's bullshit anyway, because some of the reasons I like songs on this list are maybe for the same reason. I just think it's a dumb fucking song.
All right, I don't think you're gonna get a lot of argument out of us. Yeah.
I'm pretty disappointed to see Taylor Swift so far down. Tay-Tay? I'm not a huge Taylor Swift fan. I know that I should be, because I think people really like people I trust.
What,
really
69?
Like her albums.
69.
No, don't do that about a teenager.
She's not a teenager, buddy.
Slow down, Josh.
Easy, Rod. No, she's number 6. She's 69. That's up there. I mean, I know.
But like, again, it's like you start getting into these arguments of what it means, like the difference between 69 and 15 is.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's up there. All right, here's my hot takes. Number 50 is a song called Gasolina by Daddy Yankee. Did you guys happen to check that one out?
I know that song.
You know that song?
Mm-hmm.
You heard it before today?
Mm-hmm.
Were you at?
I'm a high school teacher.
Okay. So is that played at high school dances and shit?
I was a kind of student taught in Waukegan when Daddy Yankee came out or was really popular. Half of my students were like non-English speaking, like they were English language learners. So like Daddy Yankee was their jam, and Gasolina was like their jam for sure.
The comments were all, "Hey, if you've ever been to a North Indian wedding and played this song, you lit the room on fire." I was like, I've never heard it in my life. And by the way, it's not good. It's
yeah, okay, but it's the reason this one's on the list. The reason why this one is on the list is impact and in a certain musical style. So that's the only reason I don't like this song, but I think that's the only reason it's on this list, is that it's reggaeton, right? It's like a certain style of music, and it was the biggest version of that. So,
and it's more prolific than Stairway to Heaven.
That's the Stairway to Heaven is one of the ones that I was like,
it's more prolific than Blitzkrieg Bop. I'm just going ones that are.
I'm
right
like going
next to
down
it.
this list, and I'm like, how the fuck is Stairway of all the songs?
I have more hot takes though. Are you ready for this? Lil Nas X, Old Town Road.
Dumbest song ever. Shouldn't be on the list.
Get it out of there.
Have you listened to the lyrics of that song?
Yeah, it's awful.
Oh,
it's not a Lil Nas song. It's whatchamacallit. It's Billy Ray Cyrus.
No, it's Lil Nas X, and Billy Ray Cyrus makes an appearance on it.
Yeah.
I thought it was Billy Ray Cyrus's song.
It's Lil Nas X's song, and the original doesn't have Billy Ray Cyrus in it, I'm pretty sure. And the Billy Ray Cyrus is like, "Y'all, let me hop on there. Let me get on that horse. I got some monies to make."
That song charted for a year or something. Like, it was insane, but it's terrible.
It's like the longest number one song of all time or something.
Would you? Can I ask a question? Would your opinion change on it if you knew that Trent Reznor is a songwriter?
No,
on that song?
He's credited because I think he's took the banjo part from a Nine Inch Nails song or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Trent Reznor didn't help write it. He's credited in the same way that Paramore was credited with Olivia Rodrigo song.
So he was credited because he was ripped off.
I think so.
Got it. Cool. So eat that, Chris.
I'm sorry.
Your apology is accepted.
Do you guys know Migos?
Yeah.
Can we talk for just a moment about that Bad and Bougie song? Because that's a song that probably should never be on the top 500 songs of all time list.
Yeah, I probably agree with that.
Let's pick another. If we want Migos on there, that's fine. Let's pick something that's not just like a trashy like hip hop song. I don't know.
Yeah, but there's a lot of.
All right, Chris, are you ready for another one? Are you ready to fight?
Yeah, let's fight.
Number 178, Billie Eilish, Bad Guy. What do you got?
Think it should be higher?
I'm saying maybe perfect. Perfect spot.
Oh, that it's like.
I'm thinking that you're thinking it shouldn't be on there at all.
No, I think Billie.
Oh, I thought you didn't like Billie Eilish.
I don't like Billie Eilish.
Oh, okay, let's talk to Dane. I'm going to pivot to Dane.
I just because I don't like it doesn't mean it shouldn't be on the list.
Yeah, I was gonna have the exact same opinion.
I thought you guys would fight me on
not
that
that
one.
hot.
I thought you guys would fight me on that
You know what song and band I'd prefer not be on this goddamn list? Is "Sweet Child of Mine" by Guns N' Roses.
Nah, that's relevant. I mean,
no, I'm not saying it's not relevant, and I'm not saying that like Slash didn't by himself without the rest of the band lift up guitar playing as like a moving it into the mainstream on his shoulders alone. I'm just so tired of Guns. I'm so tired of people saying that Guns N' Roses is like a.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, that's the one that's
I'll
people
agree
will
with that.
fight you on.
I used to be able to play that song
Fucking
on
Guns
Guitar
N'
Hero, with my eyes closed.
Cool.
That's how much I played Guitar Hero.
Cool, Josh. Can we
Sorry,
talk
ladies.
Let's
Sorry,
exactly
ladies.
what Slash was
Ladies,
thinking about.
I'm taken. Okay.
We should talk about a couple more songs that we thought were like well placed. Glad they're on the list, or even like songs that maybe we didn't expect to be on the list. And
Can I?
Yeah,
Real quick? Can I do one more that I was like,
it better be good
come
though.
on. This is I don't know. Number 30, Lord Royals.
Yeah,
Number 30.
Yeah,
I think that's a great song.
I don't think that song shouldn't be on the list, but I agree. Like, it's not a top 100.
Is it better than Satisfaction, which is right above it? Number 31. Come on.
I think
Johnny B. Good?
some of this has to do with like a dance song, a pop song that gets people moving and going. Otherwise, I don't think Hey Ya would be anywhere on this list.
I don't think it has anywhere near top 30.
I've got one more hot take too.
He's shaking a pencil at us.
Yeah, it's easy herbs.
Easy teach.
Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes is a dumb fucking song.
First of all,
you're out of here. Bye, Dane. Bye.
Stupid
Bye, Dane. Bye,
fucking
Dane.
song.
Bye, Dane. Bye, Dane. Bye.
Not in
you're
the
out of this
top
podcast.
100.
Dane, goodbye.
Not in the
It's been
top
nice
50.
having you.
Nope.
It's been nice having you. You're out of here.
Stupid fucking song.
Wow.
Can I say something? This
is what I came for.
I'm no joke, okay? And I know this is gonna sound like some sort of bragging, or whatever, but and I don't mean it to. I went to Oktoberfest in Germany. Okay,
all right, here we go.
We went through Amsterdam into Brussels, into Germany, into all these different places. Seven Nation Army is a song that the rest of the world cannot get enough of. In every tent in Oktoberfest, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of people. Every 10 minutes, they played the cover band that's doing polka, all right, played Seven Nation Army, and it was like, it is a very important song, more important to the rest of the world than I think to the people in the United States. I'm telling you, that song made perfect sense on this list.
I agree with Chris.
I'm done yelling about it.
Dumb.
You've been outvoted.
Fucking song. It's literally the same chord progression the whole song. It's
Dane,
like a loud,
Dane,
quiet song. It's all it's got is dynamics.
Please extinguish your torch. You've been voted off the island.
How many? Like, there's so many
No rose for
cooler
this
White
guy.
Stripes songs in that. Like,
Sure, cooler. No
more
doubt about that.
innovative, more challenging than that song.
I'm so interested in bands that take half of the new songs on the Thrice album are songs that it's the same guitar lick repeated over and over again as the verse, as the chorus,
and it's not a dumb fucking guitar lick.
You're oh my god, that is
Like, I can fart out that White Stripes song.
You know
Now
what though? You know what though? You know what
now
though,
he's
Dane?
just- hold
You
on
know
a
what,
second.
though,
Now
Dane?
he's just
you
trying to-
didn't. You didn't
he's
fart
just-
it out, okay?
he's just trying to
Somebody
test-
else did.
He's just trying to test the RPMs on the engine now. He's just revving it up to see how high in the red he can get it.
Not really, but yeah, that's okay. I do think we should talk about a couple of gooder songs.
Thank you for bringing that up because that's going to be the highlight of this show. Yeah, that was great. What? Give me like Dane said. Give me a song that absolutely is just. It's not a hot take. We're all going to agree with it, but one that's just when you saw it in, let's call it the top 100, top 200, that you're like, yeah, that's nice. Chris, you got one of those?
Off the top of my head, it's Hey Ya by Outkast.
No, it's not. It's not. You're not being serious.
I'm not.
Oh, that's such a dumb.
Truth be told, I think Sam Cooke Change Is Gonna Come is like, I'd almost put it above Public Enemy, but that's because it's Public Enemy is not like a important thing for me. But that song is it's an incredible song by an incredible songwriter and singer. That for me was like, that's right where that belongs.
Cool.
Dane, what about you?
There's a lot on my list of bands that I feel like I could talk about, but one that I feel like when it got on the list, I was like, yeah, is Maps by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. It's at 101. I'm not a big fan of the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. They're either kind of generic or they're a little too spazzy for me. And but that song is like talk about a slow burn of a song that elevates is a really good one. It's just got a cool drum part. It's got a cool atmosphere. In its chorus, it feels like mellow and somehow very emotionally desperate. The lyrics feel like they don't need to be poetic, but they also seem like powerful in a poetic way. And I don't know, something about just the way that song hit me the first few times I heard it made it really stick with me. And I think that if there's any judge of what should be on this list, I think something like that is a judge. Something that's, we can talk about criteria all we want, but when a song kind of haunts you, I feel like that's a good contender. So I think it's well placed at 101.
Nice. For me, I was looking at stuff that I didn't know, because I am a humongous fan of music from the 60s. So I'm a child of punk rock, so stuff like Basket Case being on here is like, yeah, okay, we can agree with that. So something that I was just scrolling through and being like, I don't know this song. And I stumbled upon number 73, Formation by Beyonce, and I was like, okay, why is this on here? I don't know it. And then I watched the video, and I watched 2 minutes of it, and I was like, this song's a fucking jam. She crushes that song. And by the way, she's represented pretty well with four songs. So I was glad to see some additional representation. But Formation by Beyonce, I wonder if people would argue with that more. It was off Lemon, which I know was a humongous record for her in 2016. But I was like, geez. I was like, damn, that's a good song.
Did I miss where the Foo Fighters are?
Yeah, Everlong was on there really high up on the list, and I was sort of like
409, and that's it.
And I was kind of like, well, I really like Everlong, but it's not my favorite song by them, so we'll wait and see, if I'll Stick Around is on here, or and nothing, or My Hero, or I was waiting for some other one, and I was disappointed.
Times like these,
right? Yeah.
Best of You, some of these, and I'll even argue some of their newer stuff is it's got The Sky Is a Neighborhood, that's a fucking jam. The Pretender, these are enormous rock and roll songs that and it's hard to the greatest rock music of all I guess it's just songs, but and maybe the argument is that they're generic rock and roll songs. I don't know.
We got one of my hot takes that I didn't get to was Kiss's Rock and Roll All Night and Party Every Day.
This show does not like Kiss, so
I mean, I don't hate Kiss, but that song felt like, hey, we can play rock music and sell it to the masses too. Let's write a song about rock and roll. We haven't done that since the 60s. And here's every single song that the Foo Fighters has written ever, every single one of them is better than that one Kiss song.
Yeah, no fucking doubt.
The list would be every single Foo Fighters song and then Rock and Roll by Kiss.
All right, here's my question to you guys. Pick a song, and then we'll wrap this up because I think we've gone over on time here. Pick a song that should have been on this list for you. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be like the. It doesn't have to be the hungry like a wolf. I just have to look at one. Hungry like a wolf. Hold on. Sorry, it keeps bouncing to a different source. So sorry. Back to what I was saying. It doesn't have to be the hungry like a wolf of songs. A song for you that just should have been on here. That like for Chris Marcanti, for Dane Urbach, for Josh Marcanti, just like one that like, hey, maybe this deserves a spot. Dane, you got something in mind?
The Middle by Jimmy Eat World.
Hell yeah.
That seems,
Hell yeah.
And
that seems,
I'm not picking that because it's my favorite Jimmy Eat World song. In fact, it might be lower on my list of favorite, of Jimmy Eat World songs, just because I've heard it so much. But it's hard to deny, like, that's just a catchy song, a timeless song. It's for being such a simple song, it's kind of innovative in some weird little places. It builds, it elevates. There's possibly one of the greatest guitar solos in like modern rock and roll in it, like possibly. And it's if we're here to say that like Outkast's Hey is on the list because it gets people up and dancing and singing and stuff, like The Middle does the same job, only it's not so stupid. So yeah.
Cool. Chris, you have one that's we're not going to argue with you. Just maybe should be on there.
I'm gonna say Over This by We Were Sharks. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. I'll be honest with you. I think a song like The Black Parade by My Chemical Romance.
Oh yeah.
That entire album I've referred to it since it came out as like one of the best modern rock and roll albums. Like take out the emo pop punk kind of noise from that, like, because I'd argue that some of that's what's happening on that record isn't even all of that, but like that song is enormous, and it's got shredding guitar solo. It's got like everything that you'd want from like, yeah, this feels really really good and like important. It feels like an important song. And I realize that that's people would say that because it's like pop punk or emo, but I think if you take it out of that context, it really is. It's like it belongs on like a greatest songs of all time list. All things being objective. Did we lose Josh?
Oh, I don't know.
I think my internet just
Hi,
went
Josh.
out.
You there?
He's definitely
Son of a bitch.
there.
Well, I agree with you. I will say that when I listen to that song specifically, it gives me like goosebumps and stuff. In the same way, there he is. In the same way that to me, it feels operatic. In the same way, like Bohemian Rhapsody or something would be.
Without a doubt. And I think if you take that album start to finish, like it is singularly one of the greatest rock albums.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with you there. That's a good one.
I wouldn't argue with you either.
Yeah. What about you, Josh? We can't hear your audio though. So, Josh,
he's muted.
Royally.
Hold on, he's just muted. Oh, there he is.
Hey, I was just muted on Zoom. Dude, it's pissing me.
Royally fucked up.
Yeah, have fun editing it.
Yeah, great.
3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Mine was the only thing that came to my mind was The Decline by NoFX. For me, kind of defining my musical taste, my maybe having a significant punk rock significance. Maybe people think it's overrated, but
I think if there's a modern punk song that belongs in the list, and there aren't any other than Basket Case probably, right? There's not a Blink song in this single list, which is interesting.
Let me look you Blink.
Yeah, that's
nope.
I'm okay with that. I think
sure, but
I like for yourself. I get it. Maybe, but Blink is like whatever. But
I think the Decline though could be objectively seen as something important from that era.
To me, it's like the Bohemian Rhapsody of like 90s punk rock. You know what I mean? Which that deserves something.
What other songs are the Bohemian Rhapsody of different genres? You know what? The setup by Real Big Fish is the Bohemian Rhapsody of ska music.
Everybody Wants to Rule the World, number 319 by Tears for Fears, is the Bohemian Rhapsody of 80s music.
I like it.
There you go. Let's go ahead and bring this Dane train right into the station. He did it. Thank you guys for sticking with us and bearing with us while we fought Dane about Seven Nation Army.
Stupid song, man. What a dumb song.
It's been another episode, boys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Chris, where can people find what you're up to?
The Throwback Chicago at the Throwback Chicago on Instagram, and the Throwback Chicago on Facebook, and throwbackchicago.com, and the Throwback Chicago on Pinterest.
They get it.
And the Throwback Chicago on
MySpace.
TikTok, and on MySpace, and
MySpace.
the Throwback Chicago on Yahoo. And
Bing.
Yeah,
Dane,
Tumblr.
Dane, where can people find what you're up to?
Jetsam-flotsam.bandcamp.com is a good place to start.
Anything you want to? There he is. Look at him representing.
Oh, nice. I'm digging it. Yeah.
Repping.
All right.
Yeah. Any releases you want to highlight?
Not right now. Though we're making plans for one more thing before the year ends, so it'll be a good one.
Sweet.
Nice.
For us, it's Rock and Roll Brunch. You can find us at rockandrollbrunch@gmail.com. Shoot us an email if you have any questions, comments, concerns. If you want to call Dane a fucking moron,
I'm here for
please
it.
do.
Yeah.
If you email me, say Dane's a moron, I will read it on the show next week. No problem.
Are you just inviting Dane students to?
Shit.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple.
You can also find us on Instagram, Rock and Roll Brunch. You can find us on YouTube, and that's going to do it. Vine, TikTok. No, we are not in either one of those places. That's going to do it for us, for me, for Chris, for Dane. It's been an episode, and if I could, just please, that check.